Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain. I am Rachel. I have my coffee. I have my books. No rain. I'm hoping later in the year we'll get some more rain where it's all cozy and then I can be like all cuddled up with like a blanket or something. I can put my little Totoro little hood on, something like that. But for the most part, it is just me right now wearing a little ragdoll t-shirt. I don't know what, yeah, look, he is looking super grungy. I love it so much. This is another t-shirt that I got from the ThredUp. It's a secondhand online shop. This is not sponsored, by the way. It's just where I got it from. I love quirky graphic tees, and this one, like when I saw it, I was like, yes, that looks absolutely weird. I love it so much. So, yes. I don't know why it says baby baby on the side. Yeah, there we go. But, anyway, the rest of it is creepy cool. I love it so much. So, anyway, that's just me in a nutshell. Is weird in a creepy cool sort of way, I hope. But we are talking today not about my t-shirt or the fact that I got it from a secondhand thrift shop, because I've tried going into stores like here in Huntsville and they're just like, I don't know who does their like shopping as in like buys things from people, but I sometimes swear they don't do a very good job. Don't buy Shein stuff and then mark it up. Like if you buy some Shein shorts and you put it in your shop, it's a secondhand shop, and you put those Shein shorts for $8, I swear you have probably marked it up from the price it was on the Shein website. Like, I'm just saying. I don't buy stuff from that website. I just know that stuff is fast fashion, and that's not what I enjoy. Again, me personally. I'm talking about books, not fashion. That's just here. I'm gonna drink some coffee and we'll move on, right? Yes, we will. Today we're talking about People Will Talk by Kieran Scott. And this was a book that was brought to me by my podcast co-host, Hannah, I believe it was. And I believe in the month of, it might be later in July, we will be releasing an episode for this book where we will get to interview the author. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I think this episode for me will probably come out towards the end of July, maybe after that episode releases. So, let's see. Let's look. So this actually will probably come out at a day before, when the podcast episode with the interview for the author, Kieran Scott, will release on July 30th. So please be on the lookout for Books Are Magical podcast on most major streaming platforms with the author interview, Kieran Scott, and this book. It is a mystery, thriller, suspense, and fiction, and it was funny, and it was kind of suspenseful. I will say I literally read this book, I had the ebook on my tablet. I think I read it in 2 days. It just goes that quickly. There's a lot going on. There are 3 main female characters, 1 main male character, and a couple other supporting cast is how I kind of like to describe it. And now it is described, according to this particular paragraph of Goodreads, as a breathlessly suspenseful novel that combines Glass Onion with Big Little Lies. Well, I don't know what Glass Onion or Big Little Lies is. I haven't read those. However, breathlessly suspenseful novel? Okay, I can kind of believe that, because I do feel like each page, or maybe even each chapter, gave me some nugget of nuance that was turning that screw, turning that story a little bit more. Where you would think you just about had it, you didn't quite have it. And I think that was one of the things that had me reading this so quickly, is that the story is fairly, like, I wouldn't say it's surprising. These 3 women are invited to what is considered the annual clambake by this fairly rich family. Now, one of these females is kind of a longtime friend / love interest of the main male character, Peter. And I think she's always kind of held a candle for him, I think, or a flame, is that what it is? Anyway, she's always kind of had a thing for him. Now, even though they broke up a long time ago, it's been like 12 years, Anytime he's had in anything, she's come running. And that is Catherine. Next, there's Maya. Maya is this like star of tennis. She's just won Wimbledon, and she's actually been dating Peter very publicly for the past little while. And like the public have known about this. They have, like, you know, they've been seen in paparazzi photos and stuff like that at various functions. And so it's not a surprise that she would be invited to something like this, but I think this is her first event with his family. And then there's Leanne, who she has legal guardianship over Peter's son. Now, Peter had a son with this other individual who passed away. And Leanne is that individual, that woman's sister. So she's kind of the aunt of Hudson. Hudson being the little boy. And I think he's about 11 or so at the time. Somewhere around in there. But that's where these three women come into play. Is that you've got Catherine, kind of this high school sweetheart who's always kind of held a flame for him. There's Maya, who is like a current girlfriend. And there's Leanne, who's like, okay, semi-family-ish, because she is legal guardian of his son. And they do share a certain level of custody / kind of responsibility for Hudson. Because she hasn't actually, like, she hasn't cut Peter off from, like, Hudson's life or anything like that. He is his father, so wants Hudson to know who his father is, which is Peter. And so they all arrive at this feast, and they get a text pretty quickly after each of them kind of encounters Peter, and it says, meet me after the big reveal. And even though they had just walked away from Peter, like with moments previously, and they're like, what was that? Why didn't he tell us when he just saw us? Meet me after this big reveal. And so after the big reveal, they're like, what? Well, at this clambake, this annual clambake, which is supposed to be just like this annual kind of event that the family has, it turns out that Peter is going to marry a lady named Tilly. And Tilly, who apparently is like, there's another family that's involved, and I know this sounds like a lot, but Tilly comes into the picture, and she just pretty much, she sets the record straight. She's like, okay, Peter is no longer talking to you. He is ending it with you. He is no longer supporting your business, and we're going to take custody of Hudson, and you're going to be out of his life permanently. And so they're like, all right, and then done. And they all, like, everybody's like, what? So that's where kind of all of the drama starts, is Tilly just decides all of this stuff is going to happen, and nobody else gets any say. So of course she right off the bat she is the big baddie. You just picture this person being an absolute nightmare to be around. I mean, I did. Like, I hate those kind of people, in all honesty. Like, anyway, she infuriated me pretty significantly. And especially wanting to cut Leanne out of her guardianship of her nephew Hudson. I thought that was incredibly insensitive and cruel to all parties involved. Now Catherine, the one who was going to have her funding cut off from Peter, she was going to be okay. She is a wedding planner coordinator, and though she had been B-list, like kind of like B-list stars for a while, she was really making a name for herself. So it wasn't going to affect her too much to be cut off from Peter's funding. He may have provided some of that seed money, but she was really doing well on her own. Maya was the biggest, like probably the biggest one hit. Not only did she think that she and Peter had like a significant relationship, she also thought Peter was going to propose to her. They had already talked about it. They had been in Wimbledon like a week or two before, and he seemed like he seemed a little odd, but not like that odd. And just absolutely crushed. Like, her entire world has now been just completely shattered. And we start to learn each of these characters' various nuances of kind of their personalities. Because I guess when the chips are down and you start stripping away everything that they've worked so hard for, you really see the metal of a person. You really start to see what makes these people tick and what lengths they would go to try to protect what they think is theirs. And I will say, I was really impressed with all of that. Now, personally, I think I give this book probably a solid 4 stars. I am a pretty avid reader of thriller suspense. I liked that, there's not a lot of, no, you don't really have, the spy thing, or you don't really have any sort of, I don't know, I'm trying to phrase it in such a way that I'm not spoiling anything, because that's kind of my biggest thing, is because this book is going to come out very soon, I don't want to spoil it, because that's probably the biggest thing with mystery suspense thrillers, is that finding out how it plays out is the best thing in these sorts of books. I like that this book really keeps you in the heads of each of the characters. It doesn't it gives you just enough, but not too much, to the point that you think any of them could have done it, but you also think that none of them might have done it, and you, I don't know, it's very well done. So kudos to her for that, because they do kind of need to work together. These 3 women need to kind of work together, but they also don't know who they can trust either. So they don't know if they can fully trust each other as well, even though they don't really have anyone else they can trust. I do like that this book could be a very good poolside read. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. It's not a heavy hitter. It's about, I would say, 275, 280 pages. I just was going to look real quick. This says it's 320, but I swear it went by faster than that. Like I said, read it in 2 sittings. Probably just zoomed right past it. I don't even know. I was so engrossed into finding out what happened. At one point, I know Hudson goes missing. Heck, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I just feel like I want to tell you, but again, do not want to give you too many of the meat and potatoes of the story, because I think some of what I would love to tell you may be part of the character development that you need to learn more about these to learn more about the thought processes of the characters, and that's something you should read for yourself. But I liked it. I thought it was super fun. This was my first book by this author, and it goes very well. The pacing is well done. It didn't have, from what I could tell, too many slow points. But I do see that a couple people probably found it boring at times, but I think that's just where it's trying to build certain, I don't know, certain little connections and things of that nature is probably the parts where some people may have found it slow. But I don't know, from my vantage point of kind of reading these books pretty frequently, I think I needed some of that building. Now, I think some of the detective work was a little sloppy. I think there was a lot going on that we could have maybe trimmed down a little bit, because at points it was a little chaotic. But overall, really good. I'm so thankful to NetGalley and the publishers for providing me an advanced reader copy. Solid 4 stars. Definitely think I'm going to be reading more by this author, and cannot wait to share the author interview with you all when this book releases on July 30th. So please look forward to that, which I think is tomorrow. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.